And if you have a noisemaker, now's the time. And if you didn't get a noisemaker, remember you own two. Yeah? All right, here we go. Let's do it. We are dancing in the light of God. 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 We are dancing. We are dancing. We are dancing in the light of God. And again, we are dancing. We are dancing. We are dancing in the light of God. Woo! How's that feeling? We are living in the light of God. We are living in the love of God. We are living in the love of God. We are living in the love of God. We are living. We are living. Whoa, we are living in the love of God. We are living. We are living. We are living in the love of God. Now here comes my favorite verse, acting through us. We are moving in the power of God. 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 We are moving. We are moving. We are moving in the power of God. We are moving. We are moving. We are moving in the power of God.
Hello, my name is Mary Ann, and I am your trustee on duty today. On behalf of Reverend Donna and the Board of Trustees, I am privileged to welcome you here to the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. That always seems like a lot. Whoever you are, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you're truly, truly welcome here. Here you will be validated and supported and encouraged to be everything you're meant to be. Lots of times we surprise ourselves. I do. Our vision statement is love in action every day and every way. We express this love by learning and living the principles of the science of mind. You'll find our declaration of principles on the back of your program. Please join me now in reading them. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe there is an infinite, only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. I believe through my conscious use of this power, I create my life as happy, healthy, and complete. And so it is. Do we have any first-timers that wish to not be anonymous this morning? Okay, we have secret people. If there are any secret people here, hello. I'm really glad you're here. And the rest of us that aren't secret people, I'm really glad you're here too. You know, I look out here and there's just, you all just sparkle. You do, you just sparkle and smile and you're so cool. All right. I would like to thank all the people that make this Sunday celebration possible. The people that open the doors at the crack of dawn, the people that make coffee, the people that do trash, the people that make wonderful music, the people that swell our heart with their messages, just you all who sparkle. So thank you very much. If I didn't mention somebody and what you do, whoever just said too bad. We love you. Okay, direct your attention to the announcements that are in your bulletin And if you're watching us online, please visit cslaz.org for our announcements and our events calendar. Oh, yeah.
The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you. And you and I are one. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you. And you and I are one. Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste. I'm John Lopez. I'm one of the practitioners here at our Green Valley Sonoran Desert Center. And would you join me, please, in our opening invocation? I know, declare, and affirm that God is in this very room, everywhere present, filling all space. And as it expresses in, through, and as every one of us here, I know that today's service is already perfect, whole, and complete, simply waiting to be expressed in and through us, through Heather's music, through Wally, through Reverend Donna's words of wisdom, through our practitioners, and every one of us here today. I'm so grateful for this truth, and together we say, and so it is. So I'd like to light our service candle, knowing that it represents the God Spirit light which expresses in, through, and as every one of us. The practitioners are the healing arm of this center. And so if anyone has any kind of an issue or a challenge that they would like us to treat for you during this week, please fill out a prayer card over on the table, put it in the magic box, and your treatments and prayers will be magically manifested this week. And if you have any demonstrations, please let us know about that too, to know that we're doing it right. So my reading this morning is from the 365 Days of Science of Mind. And it's for today, August 14th. Divine power is mine to use. Everything in nature is an individualization of one coordinating life, one law of being, and one presence. The mind has become so filled with that which contradicts this idea that even the truth has to await our recognition. You must learn to become consciously aware of the divine presence and the divine power, the wholeness of truth, love, of reason, and of a sound mind. Instead of dwelling on negative thoughts, cause your mind to dwell on peace and joy. Know that the power of the invisible spirit is working in and through you now. At this very moment, lay hold of this realization with complete certainty. Know that you are a perfect being now, living under perfect conditions today. Knowing that good alone is real, accept that there is one power that acts and reacts in your experience, in your body, and in your thought. Know that good alone has power either to act or react. I know, and you know, that this recognition establishes the law of harmony in your experience, the law of prosperity, a sense of happiness, peace, health, and joy. Hold a communion with this invisible presence that peoples the world with the manifestations of its life, its light, and its love. Withdraw the veil that hides your real self and draw close to Spirit in everything and in everyone. Accept everything that belongs to this Spirit. Claim everything that partakes of its nature. And so it is. Namaste. So I take our soul light and I go over to the table where I will hold the high watch for you. Thank you.
So today, as John mentioned, we do have a special guest musician, and I'd like to introduce him to you. He grew up in Connecticut, moved to the Southwest in 2003, starting in New Mexico, and then coming over to Tucson in 2012. Sounds like a familiar trajectory for a lot of us, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. He's an accomplished songwriter with 6 albums of original music, and many, many more that have yet to be recorded, but maybe we can work on that. I'd love to do that with you sometime. He's been performing for live audiences since the 90s, takes a particular joy in performing live, and that does shine through in the music that he plays for us here at the center. And he has done regional music touring in the Northeast, the Southwest, California coast, but he is content to stay closer to home these days, and his songs are very, very wide and vast in scope. And are you on Spotify and Amazon and all those things?
A little bit. I have a website. I try to discourage people from streaming for free.
Yes, please. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, if you're gonna do it, then make sure that he at least gets credit for his music, you know? And So, without further ado, I want to introduce Wally Lawder to you.
Thank you, Heather. And it's great to be back here. What was it, 3 months ago I was here filling in for Heather that time. And then before that, about 6 years ago or something like that. And I really do appreciate being here and all of you. Thank you. This song is one of mine, and it's called The One Inside. I walk in and close the door, light a candle, sit on the floor. I come to rest and close my eyes and feel the peace of the one inside. When it's been good or it's been tough, when my heart has had enough, when I have done all that I can, I come to rest in the one I am. There's something no one can take away. By dark of night, by light of day. In the home of my soul, I find my strength, and I know the weary world is not so vast, but to this light a shadow cast. I see your face, I see your smile, I think I see you once in a while. It's in your eyes so true, the one inside of you. There's something no one can take away. By dark of night, by light of day. What I know of you, my friend, does not begin, it has no end. It's where we meet, where we confide, in the abode of the one inside. There is a river so very deep, and it flows from eternity and pulls our souls like streams of light to the sea of the one inside.
And we're continuing our theme for August. We are the light. As I said last week, light is used as a term for enlightenment in many of the world's religions. And like Jesus, who told us that candles are not to be hidden, but to be put on a candlestick so that they light the whole house. And this is what he was talking about people, that when we come out and we are our most authentic self, then we automatically become that candle that lights up the world.
Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, tells us there is a light and life at the center of all things, and a consciousness that responds. And this imprisoned splendor to the eyes that perceive it bursts like the glory of new dawn. This incarnated consciousness and intelligence in all things can communicate itself to us and speak a divine language to the one who listens. So as we choose to live in joy and love, we are a light to the world, and everyone that comes in our sphere of influence is affected by that. I've chosen as our topic today to light the whole sky, and it's part of a statement by 13th century Sufi poet Hafiz. And still, after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that. So when we are aware of the constant blessings in our life and we give freely from that place of being filled, then we become like that sun and we radiate that light wherever we go. When we are willing to transmit our whole self to the people and experiences in our life, then we are meeting life with an open heart. You know, sometimes we forget that we're already living in a world of blessings. And then in those moments, we tend to see the world from a sense of lack. You know, we focus more on what we don't have and separate giving and receiving, and we measure what we give against what we receive. You know, I gave her a present for her birthday, but she didn't give me one. Yeah, I worked harder than anybody on this project, but I never got any kind of recognition. So when we begin to believe that we're owed something, we are moving away from anything that is life-giving. Our preconceptions and our opinions rob us of that flow that an open heart provides. And I want to talk about this today because all of us have those times of entitlement. Sometimes they're subtle. We find ourselves unhappy and unfulfilled and we don't know why. Rachel Naomi Remen writes, "Life offers its wisdom generously. Everything teaches, not everyone learns. Life asks of us the same thing we've been asked in every class: stay awake, pay attention. But paying attention is no simple matter. It requires us not to be distracted by expectations, past experiences, labels, and masks." We know when we've moved away from an open heart, when we feel things like resentment, impatience, anger, criticism, cynicism, disappointment, ingratitude. They're all reactions to our belief somewhere that life isn't fair, that we're lacking something that we believe we deserve. And the quicker we recognize these as symptoms of a closed heart, the quicker we can open back up so that our love, like the sun, will light the whole sky. And I found some things that they're pretty basic, but they're interesting, I think, that may help us keep our heart open, keep us focused on what is life-giving. First one is practice perspective taking. And Dr. Alice Boyd, in an article for Psychology Today, suggests take a recent example of a time you got mildly annoyed with someone and spend 3 minutes writing about the situation from the other person's perspective. Practice understanding what their agenda was. And if you don't know their agenda, try making something up. For instance, would it make a difference knowing that the reckless driver that annoyed you when he cut in front of you had just found out his wife was in a bad accident and he was hurrying to the hospital? What if the waitress who didn't show much interest in you had discovered that she didn't have enough money to cover her bills and were worried about how she would care for her children? So we can do that. We can make these things up. And because we're making stuff up anyway. You know, I mean, we've all got a 5-second opinion of the first person that's in front of us. So why not make those opinions beautiful? You know, I had a friend, I think he called it windshield moments or something, and when he was stopped at a light, he would see what he was judging, and he would change it around so that they were nice judgments, you know. So, because who cares? The other person doesn't know, but we know, and it changes us when we see something that we really love and believe in. So, and the Cheyennes say, do not judge your neighbor until you walk 2 moons in his moccasins. You know, and to spend time doing this allows compassion and empathy to take the lead and open our heart to the idea that there may be more than one way of looking at anything. Because so often we're wrapped up in our own opinions, our own story, that we cannot see through the eyes of someone else. But when we take time to understand an uncomfortable situation from the other's perspective, we can let go of the negative emotions that we've been holding on to, and that opens our heart automatically. Yeah, I still remember an incident from high school. I had experienced some kind of a win, I don't know what, I was really excited about it. And I waited for my good friend so I could tell her about what happened. And when I went up to her, she shut me out with a harsh word, a couple of them actually. And I was devastated, but I was also very angry. And I spent the day telling everybody else how mean my friend had been to me. And at the end of the day, I found out that she had had to have her dog put down that morning. I remembered how she loved him, and I felt terrible that I had not taken the time to find out why she was so sharp. And I felt terrible and wished I could have taken back all those words I said all day. I still remember that. That's a lot of years ago. So there's powerful in what we believe and what we say and what we can do to change our own mind and the mind of the world. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow said, if we could read the secret history of our enemies, we should find in each man's life sorrow and suffering enough to disarm all hostility. And I've heard the statement, I've used it, if we knew each person's story, there would be no wars. So even if we don't or can't understand the other person's perspective, we can realize that the pains and wounds that we've experienced in our life are also embedded in the life of the person who we are annoyed with. And that in itself is enough to cause us to drop our defenses and let our light shine. And the second one is to promote another's success. It's an indication that our heart is not open if we experience jealousy over somebody else, over their success. And when we deliberately turn this around and learn to be truly appreciative and happy for the good of someone else, what we find is that our good feelings are like a magnet and return good back to us. Ernest Holmes said, in the long run, everyone who loves is loved. All who give joy receive it back. Everything moves in circles, in cycles of cause and effect. More is added to the much we use. When we refuse to use our gifts, they shrivel up. The divine flow is short-circuited. The one who gives for the joy of giving will receive back even more joy than he gave out. Ever as the volume increases, the circle will increase. There can be no point of saturation in that which is infinite. So the more we cheer for another's good fortune, the more that good fortune returns back to us in some way, shape, or form. It always does. It always does. And likewise, the more we see our own lack in another's good fortune, this good stuff never happens to me, then the more lack circles back to us, because that's what we're putting out. And we can't get back what we're not putting out. So, we are where we are by right of consciousness. And I suggest that we practice feeling good about somebody's good fortune. You know, just imagine your best friend winning the lottery. And when we feel true joy for them, let's try the same thing with someone that we don't like as much. And don't stop until we feel joy for them as well. The more our consciousness expands to bless the good that comes to everyone, the more we will experience that good in our own lives, and the brighter our light will shine. The third one is develop our gifts. We all have core gifts that make us unique. These core gifts have profoundly deep roots in our being, and they need to be fed if they are to flourish. No matter our age, these core gifts are the most tender places inside us. We find them whenever we feel the most vulnerable, passionate, and authentic. And if we are open to them, they turn us back to our most authentic self. Sometimes these core gifts have taken a back burner to life's demands for so long that we've forgotten what they are. And if that's true for anybody here, I suggest that we remember what we loved as a child. What made time stand still for you? That's a core gift. That's a core gift. Those childhood passions never really leave us, but they do get buried under the guise of maturity. So when we use our core gifts, when we find and use those core gifts to participate in life, any sense of entitlement, of being owed, disappears because we're enmeshed in all that is life-giving for us. There's nothing more heart-opening than doing something that we love. And it's even more powerful when that love is shared. You know, Wanda and Bruce, they're on vacation taking pictures, I know, but they share their love of photography. Not only with each other, but they share it with us when they display it in our own sanctuary. And I was so grateful to Wanda because she came up to me during a summer, and she said, well, there's nothing on our walls. Can I put up some of my pictures? And that was just such a blessing because they've been doing it kind of consistently ever since. And it's just a happy thing to know that that is one of her core gifts that she has given to us. And today, the photographs on the wall now by Gene Comaroni were donated by him so that all the profits go to our center. And these are the examples of our core gifts that when shared with love, light, then everything and everyone around them will feel that light. And the fourth one is to value others, because it's through our connection with others that we develop our own authenticity. It is only in our relationship to each other that we can see the whole. I sought my soul, but my soul I could not see. I sought my God, but my God eluded me. I sought my brother, and I found all three. Isn't that neat? So this anonymous poem sums up the need to value others, that each of us are precious, unique expressions of God, and we're also human with all the frailties that come with that. So when we truly value another, we find God in the midst of that relationship. Psychologist and Buddhist proponent Tara Brach says most of us need to be reminded that we are good, that we are lovable, and that we belong. If we knew just how powerful our thoughts, words, and actions affected the hearts of those around us, we'd reach out and join hands again and again. Our relationships have the potential to be a sacred refuge, a place of healing and awakening. With each person we meet, we can learn to look behind the mask and see the one who longs to love and be loved. Excuse me for just a minute, I gotta do this. Thank you. It's time that we all wear masks. And when we take the time to see the truth behind that mask, we find a treasure. And that person we thought was so annoying becomes our greatest teacher. When I worked for an architectural firm in Los Angeles, first moved to Los Angeles, there was one architect who annoyed the heck out of me. He was curt, he would make cutting remarks, and I really did my best to avoid him. I don't know why he didn't like me, but he didn't. But one day, I caught him crying, and we started talking, and I found out that his 8-year-old son had just been diagnosed with leukemia. And for the first time, I saw this man without his mask, at his most vulnerable, and my heart broke open. It broke open. So we went to lunch that day, and I listened as he poured out his grief. And we became good friends. As often when he was trying to be strong for his family, he would come to me and break down in front of me. So I served as that strength for him during that time. And what a blessing, what a gift, what a gift. The sun can light the whole sky because it says to the earth, it never says to the earth, you owe me. And when we come to life giving ourselves without reservation, with no sense of being owed anything, we too can light the whole sky. Khalil Gibran in The Prophet speaks about this kind of giving. He says, you give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. For what are your possessions but things you keep and guard for fear you may need them tomorrow? All you have shall someday be given. Therefore give now, that the season of giving may be yours and not your inheritors. You often say, I would give, but only to the deserving. The trees in your orchard say not so, nor the flocks in your pasture. They give that they may live, for to withhold is to perish. See first that you yourself deserve to be a giver and an instrument of giving. For in truth, it is life that gives unto life, while you, who deem yourself a giver, are but a witness. So when we realize that that God is flowing through us, then we become aware that we are witnesses of the divine. When we practice perspective taking, compassion and empathy take the lead and open our heart to the idea that there's another way to look at things. When we promote the success of others, being happy for their good and their success, we are creating those things for us as well. Developing our core gifts allows us to give from our most tender places. And in valuing others, we see their divinity and our connection as part of the whole. And through those relationships, we find a sacred love, a love that lights the whole sky. Thank you. Namaste.
We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. Let's do it one more time, shall we? We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are open in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening.
Beautiful. Thank you. Awesome. That was fun. I'm going to tell you a little story. We talk every once in a while about Flo over there, Prosperity Pig. And she's there because we ask that anybody feeds her 10% of any unexpected or unplanned income. And this past week, she got fed more than she has in the history of this center. Wow. So I just want to say thank you to the person who gave so generously, and Flo is very happy and very fat. Okay, it is time for our offering affirmation. It's time for our offering. So won't you join me in the affirmation on the left-hand side? My gift goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless all that it touches. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I share generously of my good, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so
And we certainly give thanks to each and every one of you for your generosity, for keeping our doors open and our ability to share within the community. Byron and Gretchen and I don't know if there was anybody else from the church. Nyla and Jose. We were all at the Sapori School yesterday because they had the groundbreaking of the Youth and Activities building. So this has been like a 6 or 7 year project, and it started out to be a $350,000 project, and it's now, because of COVID and because of everything shooting up, it's now $1,250,000. So we've got almost all that we need, and we believe that we can come up with the rest of it, that there's some grants in the work. So it does look like, we had some gold shovels, and so we broke the ground, and we're on our way. So I am so pleased. But you guys have been a large part of that, because before Ukraine and before COVID, we were giving pretty regularly to the Amado Youth Alliance for their buildings. So, and that comes from your ties here that we give 10% of every Sunday. So that applause was for you too. So thank you so much. Okay, please join me in our prayer, and then please say after for coffee and desserts, all kinds of good things. So I just take a moment, knowing that we are the light, and that we shine with our thoughts, our perceptions, and our ideas when we are clear about who and what we are, and knowing that we are each one expressions of God, that this life that we live is God's gift to us. Then we go forward with no entitlements, just the idea that to live is a blessing. So I go forth that way, and I do speak a word for anyone who's experiencing any kind of a situation, a challenge. We have on our prayer list from Ann Cummins, those of you who've been around know Ann, from her great-grandson who's 3. I'm not sure exactly what the situation is, but it's serious, and they're waiting for surgery. And so we've been praying, our practitioners have been praying, so I invite you to pray with us. His name is Ryder, R-Y-D-E-R. So if you pray in the morning or evening, add him to your list, and we will get him back in perfect shape. I know we will, with God's help. I give thanks to be a part of this beautiful spiritual family, and to know that we are sharing our light together, and that it does go out into the community, into other areas. Perhaps we may never know where, but it does touch others. And I give thanks that we're here to be able to do that, as we say together, and so it is. Thank you all. And we form a circle and sing Stand.